Zenobia. This thing is lucky to be afloat.
Take us around. Let's find a boarding point.
Things change pretty fast in this business. 7 years ago, Capcom addressed the sudden staleness of one of its key franchises by changing the blueprint. This resulted in one of the best games of all time, but it was a moment Capcom had arrived at in large part by running from the very conventions, the very roots, they seem so concerned with running back to now, 7 years later. You see, with its legendary fourth installment, Resident Evil struck an exciting new balance that would ultimately change its genre forever. But that balance, that harmony between action and horror, was completely derailed in its successor. Suddenly we're back to where we were in 2004, with everyone insisting Resident Evil needs to change. Again. Now ultimately, Capcom's answer to this problem is still being formulated, but as the sixth game looms over the horizon, this new spin-off perhaps sheds some light on the route Capcom is planning to pursue, because rather than reinvent the wheel, Resident Evil Revelations simply balances the axle.
What is this? If it's an engineered mutation, this could prove a link.
Now, I mention all this because that context is vital in understanding what this game is about. An exclusive release to the Nintendo 3DS, Revelations is a spin-off set between games 4 and 5 in terms of its plot. But in terms of its overall design, it's a bit more complex. Revelations blends the refined gameplay of Resident Evil 5 with the creepiness so characteristic of the earlier titles, revitalizing the series just by changing its mixture.
It's time you learned the truth, Miss Valentine.
The brilliance of this approach is evident within moments of taking control. Playing as Jill Valentine, you find yourself on a veritable ghost ship, its silence providing this eerie contrast to the raging ocean outside. This place feels like a floating coffin, and as you make your way through its dark passages, you quickly discover you're not alone. So the game doesn't open with some action scene that could have been taken from the cutting room floor of a Rambo movie. Instead, it opens with this intensely moody sequence that reminds you of when the scariest name in games was Resident Evil. But one of the most interesting things about Revelations is the way it balances the traditional with the new. So for example, inventory conservation is again important this time, which makes the addition of the Genesis, this Metroid-like scanner that locates hidden items, even more useful. While the enemies appear to be a throwback to previous games, their behavior feels altogether different. They seem to attack from anywhere, with an unsettling and almost Dead Space-like degree of surprise. And as strong as the design is, Revelations is also supremely well made. Not only is the sound as stellar as it was in Resident Evil 4, but this is also the most visually stunning 3DS game to date. And though it does stutter from time to time, the game's gorgeous appearance makes that less annoying. The fog effects in particular are just awesome, and they're a great example of a visual effect having a tangible impact on the game. You have no idea what's crawling in the mist, and that is terrifying. Up to this point, Nintendo has been the only company making 3DS games that are worth your time. And if only because it so decisively changes that narrative, it feels great to play this game. Capcom has not only shown what the system is capable of, but they've created a masterful survival horror game that stands with the strongest efforts of even Nintendo themselves as one of the best 3DS games to date.
This explains our missing crew.
This is not good.